Hi and welcome back. I'm Carly from Soundsight Studios. Today we are going on a deck tour of the Illuminated Tarot. This is an interesting deck that can be used both for tarot practice and for gameplay. So let's jump in and have a look. All right, let's get started with the Ace of Clubs. This would be traditionally the suit of wands and represent passion and creativity. But in this deck, the minor arcana cards actually represent the major arcana cards as well. This one, our Ace of Clubs, being strength. It represents overcoming desire, building trust, and having courage. The color balance here is excellent, and I love this pattern. The Two of Clubs represents a passionate conversation or debate. Traditionally, it's about looking out at what's beyond you, and so this is a neat internal card that integrates ideas and conversation, and I really like that fire in between the two people. The Three of Clubs represents efforts rewarded and success in business. The Four of Clubs is solid foundations, stability, and celebration. 4 is always going to be your number of stability, and when you see so much greenery, there's that feeling that things are good, things are going well. The Five of Clubs pairs with the Devil card in this deck. And so this represents temptation, attachment, control. It seems very peaceful as a Devil card. The Five of Clubs is typically a card about strife or conflict in some way, but I like there's a connection here with the chains. That's kind of a throwback to the Devil card. And then the fire represents the energy of the suit, and so it's a cool balance here. The Six of Clubs is a version of the Tower. It's a revelation or a drastic shift in perspective. The Seven of Clubs is vigilance and a struggle to stay ahead. I like that a lot. Again, this is typically a card about having a type of struggle, usually more about setting a boundary, but here it's a little more competitive. The Eight of Clubs, let me get that correctly arranged there, is about repetition, swift movement, and movement that can create stability. So the sense of building, creating. I like that energy in this suit. The Nine of Clubs pairs with the Sun. It represents clarity, simplicity, and a new life. And the Ten of Clubs is a responsibility or a burden. I usually interpret this as a burden that you're excited to carry, but it's always a maximum card, so it's a reminder that it's easy to burn out or get overloaded. And I love how you can see these circles under her eyes. It seems like she is getting tired, and this is starting to overwhelm her a bit. Great representation. Moving into the court cards, our Jack of Clubs has some cute cats on it. It represents the enthusiastic pursuit of a new venture. The Queen of Clubs represents confidence and strength. We kind of upgrade from a kitty cat to a lion, or maybe a tiger. The King of Clubs represents the magician, and the key words are skill and transformation. Diving into the Suit of Cups, or here technically the Suit of Hearts. The Ace is emotional, spiritual, or creative flow. Look at that little heart upside down there. And I love this pattern of the water coming out of the cup and going over the edge, but it's not messy. And you have all these amazing little pieces of life around it, whether it's the plants, the fish, like, I don't know if they're sparkles or fruit, they're whatever you want them to be, but it's a great representation of abundance and life. The Two of Hearts pairs with Temperance and represents balance and moderation. I don't often hear the word moderation associated with the card, but I really like it here. And the illustrations, again, with the patterns are just gorgeous. Her eyelashes are great, and the color here is to die for. The Three of Hearts is a party or celebration. And I always remind people that this relates more to platonic relationships or friendships rather than romantic relationships. Of course, you can celebrate with the people that you love, but typically this is more of a community-oriented card and an encouragement to make those connections. The Four of Hearts is hesitation to try something new or fear of repeating past mistakes. Isn't that an interesting interpretation? The way she's looking back, checking if she really learned her lesson, if she's gonna take a step backwards. And then we have these plants down here. It looks like they're dying, but these are full of life. And she's wondering, okay, which one do I want to choose? That is a lot going on in a single card. And notice also with the art how it comes right out over the edges into the edge of the card. I've never seen that before in tarot. Great design. Oh, look, it's happening here too. The Five of Hearts, learning from mistakes and moving forward. So, what a great progression in the deck. The Six of Hearts pairs with the Lovers. That makes complete sense because the Lovers is card number 6 in the major arcanas. We had two people together. Look at how they share that eyebrow. Hearts galore, cups that are full of life and abundance. That card looks so warm, so fun. It represents love, beauty, and union. The Seven of Hearts is about secrets, imagination, and new feelings. The Eight of Hearts pairs with the moon. So you can see the balance here between the sun that was there a minute ago and the moon. This is a lot more trippy if you ask me. It represents subtlety, mystery, and instinct, which I've never heard the word instinct paired with the moon card, but that is one of the jewels that you find in the treasure box when you've been on your hunt within yourself to learn who you are and gain your own knowledge. So I do like that as an interpretation here. The Nine of Cups is about selfishness or excess. You can just see how everything is pouring over. This reminds me a lot of Crowley's interpretation of the Nine of Cups. So I wonder if this creator was inspired by the Thoth. And then our Ten of Hearts, the Wheel of Fortune. Plans set in motion. And look at those characters there. Beautifully done. All right, let's move over to court cards. The Jack of Hearts, unconscious thoughts coming to the surface, contemplation. A much more thoughtful card than your traditional Page of Cups, but I think this Jack would be more connected to the Knight of Cups, which I always equate to somebody who's a hopeless romantic, a very creative type person. And so this is more thoughtful and intellectual than most interpretations I've heard, but you'll hear no complaints from me on that. The Queen of Hearts in her vibrant color. She pairs with the Empress and represents fertility and responsibility to nature. What a fantastic connection. And then we come to the King of Hearts, representing sensitivity and creativity, channeled into professional success. Absolutely adore that interpretation Because it's one thing to be creative or know how to handle your emotions and your emotional intelligence, but it's another to channel it, to know how to use it constructively, to make it useful. Please remember, if you are liking this deck tour, to like and subscribe. It helps me keep making more content like this for you. Let's jump into our next suit, the Spades, which represents the swords, as you can clearly see here. Our Ace of Spades represents focus and clarity. Look at this amazing eye right at the center of this sword. And it's a subtle thing, but I like how this flower is kind of going around the hilt, like the vine is stretching over. I've seen some representations where hands are like on the actual sword itself, and something about that just feels so dangerous. And I love how the hilt is being, you know, it's like you can kind of see this interaction happening here. It's a really graceful, beautiful, full card. But it definitely communicates that sense of clarity and someone getting a handle on a situation. The Two of Spades is connected to the Hanged Man. It's defined as peace through self-discipline and freedom from distraction. That's also a pretty new interpretation of the Hanged Man. And because it is related to the Hanged Man, it needs to go this direction. Always upside down. The Three of Spades is about moving beyond sorrow. The Three of Spades is about moving beyond sorrow and understanding one's own feelings. Usually there's a heart that's being impaled by this trio of swords. And so I'm really happy that the artist mentions that emotional component, but I don't think you'd get that if you didn't read her book first. So it's always good. I always think of this as a heartbreak card. A heartbreak card. The Four of Spades correlates to death, the cycle of creation, destruction, and renewal, which you see here. And they maintained this really cool sunrise in the background with these columns. That is your symbol in the old Rider-Waite-Smith deck of the significant passing of time, reminding us that sometimes things hurt in the present moment, but they will get better as time goes on. And so don't quit here, don't give up. Follow the whole cycle through, and you'll see yourself to this other side where the sunrise is, where the promise of rebirth and renewal lies. The Five of Spades is about possible disappointment or a difficult opponent. I like that because that might prep somebody differently. If they know that they have a difficult opponent, they're going to be more conscientious of how they approach a situation. And I like this idea of keeping your cards close to your chest. The Six of Spades is about leaving worries behind and making a transition. Typically, you see swords here in the boat, and they represent the thoughts that are on her mind. And the guidance is typically to throw them overboard before she gets to her destination. Here, it's like she already did that. And so that missing element is a part of the card. It's almost like this is your ideal card. You want to toss those old worries, that old baggage to the side. Our Seven of Spades correlates to the Chariot, a triumph, a breakthrough, an inventive solution. The Eight of Spades correlates with justice, reason, and fairness are the key words. The Nine of Spades are thoughts that keep a person awake. We call this our card of sleepless nights. Struggle to make sense of events. We've all been here. This is when your mind is chewing on ideas, making it hard to rest. We know that she can't sleep at night. And it's interesting that she's kind of protected by this pillow. So it is a really great composition where it looks like she's comfortable, but these swords are right below her. There's almost a threatening component here, but we know that she's physically safe. It just represents the thoughts going on in her head, creating an environment that is not conducive to rest. The Ten of Spades correlates with judgment. This is a wake-up call. It's about having an announcement. I always call this the card of an epiphany, or hearing your higher calling. And I absolutely love this rooster. This is your wake-up call. This is your aha moment. This is that loud, clear voice that you hear when you have a breakthrough. And so our rooster is amazing with that morning, I don't know what you call it that a rooster does. Caw? No. You know what I mean, though. Okay, let's go into our court cards. The Jack of Spades represents caution or potential. She's holding these cards close to her chest, and her sword is safely behind her back. So she definitely is using her thoughts, but she's not on the attack. She's on offense or defense. She's on defense. Then we have our Queen of Spades, representing strategy, intelligence, and ambition. Damn right, sister. And the King of Spades correlates to the Emperor. You'll recognize the ram, which is on the throne of the Emperor in the Rider-Waite-Smith, but the Emperor also correlates to Aries, the zodiac sign, and it represents a kind of hard-headedness that the Emperor can have at times. So the key words here are wisdom, experience, and authority. Definitely a positive representation of the divine masculine, well represented here. Coming into our next suit, the Ace of Diamonds, and diamonds are going to correlate to Pentacles. The Ace of Diamonds is an interpretation of the World card. Peace, travel, open-mindedness. I love the interpretation of travel for the World card. Usually it's simply about completion, but here it's like saying there's all these possibilities out there, the world is yours, go explore. The Two of Diamonds correlates to the High Priestess. So we have some of her symbolism here, but we also have the traditional Two of Pentacles symbolism. This is about juggling and multitasking. The Three of Diamonds is about craftsmanship, successful collaboration, and admiration. All excellent words, and this composition contains all of that. I like that it's about successful collaboration. It's like when you have that magical fusion, two things come together and the work flows, like the creative process is easy. So that is a specific interpretation of this card that needs to be adopted as the new standard interpretation. Love it. The Four of Diamonds is about hesitation to help others, preoccupation with material possessions. The Five of Diamonds correlates to the Hierophant. We have those traditional keys of wisdom. This is about tradition, spiritual authority, and deception. Now, the deception must come from the Five of Cups, because that's not traditionally part of the Hierophant card. But if we think about spiritual authority, that can switch over to the world of cults really fast, and there are aspects of deception in those power hierarchies. And so it's an interesting combination that's getting put together here. The Six of Diamonds is about charity, harmony, and cooperation. Charming. People at a dinner table, sharing, passing food, pouring water, wine for each other. A really beautiful representation. The Seven of Diamonds is the Star, hope and healing. Similar to the sun, similar to the moon, but we have more of a sense of expansion with these amazing diamonds and the bright, vibrant color, plus these really clear eyes. It's interesting how much is communicated with the way the eyes are drawn in this card versus the sun or the moon. The Eight of Diamonds is comfort achieved through work and persistence. Traditionally, that's your card of the apprentice, somebody who's learning their trade. their skill, their craft getting better through practice. And so you see that handiwork here, and you see that effort put in to create a beautiful patchwork. Then our 9 of diamonds, which represents the hermit, or correlates to the hermit. It's our only underwater scene, as far as I can tell. So we kind of go to a different world here. It represents sacrifice without regret and self-care. The 10 of diamonds is the choice of security over risk and the enjoyment of wealth. I like that element of enjoyment of wealth, because what's the point of working your whole life if you don't take time to appreciate it? The Jack of diamonds is fascination, wonder, and scholarship. Somebody who's learning how to draw, someone who's learning new skills. They're ready to explore their abilities. We love it. Then our Queen of diamonds is the bond between the internal and the external. Mastery, not control of nature. With these queens, we definitely have a theme of connecting to the natural world. And the King of diamonds, generosity, happiness found in nature or spirituality. I like how non-gendered both of these cards are, in that these are unique traits that we would need to have in our life to be well. So great progression. And last but not least, we have one kind of traditional major arcana card, and this is the Fool. Here it also correlates to the Joker, but historically the Fool existed before the Joker did. The Joker was created in like the 1920s in New York City, I think. And so whereas the Fool was created much farther back in like the 15th century. So here it's translated as freedom and fearlessness. This is typically the card that is moving through the deck. This is you as a player moving through these experiences. And it's another great example of a card working both ways. So it's a fun little, I think a fox? I think it's a fox. Ready to go on adventure. Adorable. I hope you enjoyed getting to see each of those cards. Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Or leave a request for the next deck you want to see. Please remember to like and subscribe and follow me on my socials to stay in touch. I'll see you next time. Happy reading!